I want to do one more thing with her, and then we're going to let her go for now. And that is, I want to put this big guy up. We can pull that umbrella down and put this one up there. This is my beast. And let me get this out here so you can see what this is. This is I don't even know how to describe this, but it's scary. This baby is 7 feet. It's from Westcott, and it's called the 7-foot parabolic, $99. I don't know how they can sell this for $99. And they make 3 of them. They make one that's silver, which this one is. They make one that's white, and then they make one that's shoot-through translucent. Well, I've got all 3 of them. They're all awesome.
Now,
So-
what are you going to say? I was going to say, that's a Seattle umbrella.
That is a Seattle umbrella right there. You can get your family under this one. You know, or Mary Poppins. Okay, so we're going to put this guy up, and you might want to let that rod come on through quite a few inches just for the strength on this guy. There you go. Perfect. That's going to be it, right about there. Great. Yeah, it is a little bit heavy, so I'll get it right here. Okay. So now, I'm just going to spin this guy around, and again, we're just going to bounce into the parabolic part of this thing. Right in there. Kind of like that. And all of a sudden, her face just sort of came to life there. So let me get a reading on that. So I'm getting 8.5 as a reading. I think I want that to be just a little bit hotter than that, so I'm going to power that up just a little bit. So I'm going to go up to there and see if I can't get 11 out of that. Oh, okay. Well, I got 8.9. That's close enough. Yeah, I got 1 more tenth. No, I'm full. Okay, I'll take it F11. Okay, so let's take a look and see what's going to happen here. And then, again, like we did on the last one, we're going to swivel her around and take a look. Okay, so turn your shoulders just a little and lean forward just a little and bring your head around just a little and your eyes up and your eyes right at me. Chin up a little bit more. Right there. Right there. Oh, I said 11, didn't we? Yep. There we go. Nobody moves. Nobody gets hurt. Oh, that was good. Did y'all feel that one? That looked good. Now then, we're going to like this one. Let's zoom in on this and check out these eyes. Yeah. That's pretty fun. But here's the thing, you guys. Here's what's got to be discussed. And this is the part that I hope new photographers are getting this part. We've got this sort of truncated dynamic range of contrast. So what I have to do, my job is to make sure that that histogram has detail. So my highlight, my brightest highlight, I've got some detail there, it looks like. And my darkest shadow, I've got some detail in there, it looks like. That's what I have to do in order to make a print with full range detail. Isn't that what we're paid to do? Don't we have to have that? We kind of do. We have to make sure. I mean, if you want to lose the shadow side of life and let that go dark, that's one thing. But you really can't lose the highlight side of life. So the thing here is, how many times would we be shooting all this stuff, trying to guesswork to get this nailed, to nail this if we didn't have a meter? I don't know how we can not have a meter. Can you zoom back on that for just 1 second? And again, let's just take a look. I love the look of this silver umbrella. Look how close I'm working this thing. Now, let's do this. Let's don't change anything except right now you can see this is aimed a little bit past her over here. So now I'm going to do the exact same thing to the other side. So I'm going to spin it this way and go a little bit past her over here. Right? What do you think is going to happen? Where's the change going to be? The background. Right? Okay, let's take a look at her face again. Here we go. Good and tall, and lean over you and turn your head this way. There you go. Good, 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 good. Nobody moves. Hang on 1 second. There we go, right there. Great. I don't know what's right, you guys. I really don't know which one you like and which one you don't like. What I do know is that everybody has different tastes and subjectivity to how this all sort of fits, you know? Any questions about that? You guys have any questions in there we need to talk about?
This is just really cool. I love it. I love it. How about in studio? Do we have any questions here in the room?
Ladies, anything?
Beautiful. Let's check online. I'm just gonna make sure.
We're gonna
Okay.
pop in, and while he's checking, I will let you know that we're chit-chatting about, like, Russ leaned over. He's like, "You have to buy one of these umbrellas today."
Yeah. We actually found it on sale for $50. Somebody just posted a link. It's on sale for $50. So
For the
kind of
West Side.
silly. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll share the link. We do have so. Everly would like to know about the shadows around the nose.
Yeah.
Is that what they call loop lighting? And
Yeah.
is there such a thing as bad loop lighting?
Yeah. So it is loop lighting, but in this case, depending on where the face is turned, it can be more or less pronounced. So can I walk over and point out something on the screen and be fine with that? I can travel over here. So if you think about it, the highlight in the eye is in the right spot. I kind of missed that eye, and we'll fix that. So, photography 2, Tony's 0. But a loop light in its truest form is more often done with a smaller source, with a little bit of a harder shadow, and that loop would come down like this. And it would just make a little bit of a loop down from her nostril. Okay? So that's more of a traditional loop. And then where the Rembrandt basically comes in, that shadow from the nose goes over to that shadow, and it closes all that off, so there's a triangle of light right there. And I'll do that right now. I'll show you how that works. So those are the two patterns that really are most often used in portrait photography, especially. And that's the things that we were all taught early on. What's funny to me is if you talk to the traditional portrait photographers, they have always lived and died by those 4 light patterns, which are the Rembrandt, the loop, split light, where the face is split, and then that paramount or butterfly light from above, which is like shot number 1 in the middle over there. So those are the 4 traditional light patterns that most people have always sort of lived by. If you talk to fashion and editorial and commercial photographers who photograph people's faces for a living, they've never heard of those 4 patterns. They don't even know what they are. It's just the traditional portrait guys that's been passed along from the Dutch masters, from the Rembrandt days, from the Michelangelo, Da Vinci, Raphael, Caravaggio, all of those artists that used these patterns on the face. And it had a lot to do with the directionality of their light and their studios. Was it Da Vinci? No, Rembrandt had an interesting thing. He was one of the few painters that would, when painting, and they always painted exactly what they saw. They didn't try to fix it in post, right? They sort of painted what they saw. So most of the painters, when they would paint with window light as their source, of course, if here's my window and you're painting me here, and they had a guy sitting like this, leaning toward the window like this, his hand is closer to the window. In most of their paintings, that hand would be brighter than the face because it's closer. Rembrandt had a way of doing this where that hand wasn't brighter than the face. And the way he did it was the way he placed his subject in his studio. He had little strips of columns in his windows. And he had fabrics that he could bring up from the floor and clip so that they could knock off light on the lower third or the lower half of his subjects. He vignetted his light qualities, not with his brush, but from the light source itself. And so he would have this person move forward until this hand was basically covered by this post, and all of a sudden they'd come forward like, right there, don't move. So now their face is still getting light, but their hand is behind the post, so the hand goes darker. These guys were giants, huge giants. They knew so much about light and contrast and feeling and emotion, and my gosh, we're hacks, We're just hacks compared to those guys. And we get it done that fast. How long did it take them to do that work? Oh, do we have the patience for that? Not me. If I don't get to see it pretty quick, I'm kind of done with it. Makes sense? Let me real quick let me close this up and look at a Rembrandt here. So let's do this. Let me just bring your head back around this way a little bit more, right about there. And can you just push the hair back on your left side mostly? I just want to be able to see your left eye really well. Good, 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 good. Now just bring your head around right there. And I'm just going to move this around. It's kind of a challenge to see because of all the studio lights.
And Tony, when you move the umbrella, do you remeter?
Oh, I remeter all the time. Measure twice, cut once.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to. You can get into a rhythm of knowing exactly where you are and kind of get away with it. I'm at 8 1/3, by the way. You can kind of get away from it. But you know when you're in the studio, you know how much you moved it. It's like, I think I moved it 1/3.
And just something that we haven't necessarily talked about much, might have been easily missed. What power setting is the light itself on?
Right now it's on 3 power, which is out of a possible 5 power. So I'm down, if it's 500 watt seconds, 1 stop down would make it a 250 watt seconds. 1 stop down would make it a 125. So I'm at 125 watt seconds, which is not a lot of light. And I'm still shooting up there pretty good. So we're doing okay. What? Are you having bangs issues? Okay, here we go. Lean forward and bring your head around again, right about there. Let me just take a look. It's really hard to see this light pattern. Chin down a tiny bit for me. Down, 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 down. Right there. And your eyes right about here. Yep, that's it, right there. Don't move. Woohoo. So look at this. Now you'll see this triangle of light now. It's hard to see it because of all the lights in the studio. But you can get the idea. And this is one of the things that Rembrandt sort of introduced. And he got known for it, and it's called Rembrandt light, but he really didn't use it that much. A lot of the cinematographers talk about, there's a guy named Vilmos Zsigmond, who most people have never heard of. But Vilmos Zsigmond is a brilliant cinematographer that did, he was the DP on set for Close Encounters for Spielberg. Remember the scene where the little boy opens a door and there's that spaceship and it's backlit and he just gives you Zsigmond lit that. He lit that scene. And he always talks about this kind of light quality. And he always says, the Dutch painters is who he studies the most. And he says, most people think that all those old artists use always soft light. And he said, not true. And he said, especially of the Dutch painters did that. They wanted that chiseled feature of the light to delicately outline the features of a face. And that's how they would set that light. They would find the right time of day to paint, and they could paint for an hour, and then they had to stop painting because the light moves or changes. Like Chiaroscuro, exactly the same thing. Not too shabby. Yeah, but why did he get the f4 lens? Well, because of that.
Love it.
Yeah.
So we have a couple of folks, a bunch of different folks, so I'm not going to read everyone's names. Sorry.
Sure.
But a lot of people who are basically looking at buying an umbrella like this and are wondering about the difference between the shoot-through and the parabolic and all those different things, and then also wondering about the flexibility about whether you can, for example, bring it in closer and get a wraparound softbox effect.
Yes to all the above.
There you go.
What's interesting to me is that when this first came out, the first time I tried this light, I was pretty astonished. I'm thinking, well, I'm not going to use a silver umbrella. It's too big. It's silver. It's going to be too specular, and ugh. And then I started testing it, and so I did some side-by-side tests with a guy that teaches in Brooks Institute in Santa Barbara, California, a guy named Tim Meyer, who's one of my great friends and a genius when it comes to lighting. Tim said, you need to really look at this side-by-side because I'm finding things here that I didn't know existed. And what we found was that with the silver 7-foot umbrellas, we were able to finally see that side-by-side with the white and the silver, we weren't getting more specular, hot, shiny light with the silver. It was just giving us more output, but we were still getting the same light quality. So the silver became more efficient, but I didn't degrade the quality of my light source, and that's what I was afraid of. So I was completely thrilled when I realized what was going on.
When you shoot with the white one, do you still see the ribs of that umbrella in the catch light? Because that is so cool.
You do. Yeah, that exists. It's just there.
So it doesn't have anything to do with the reflection of...
Yeah.
And so is it softer light then with the white versus the silver? Because that Or it's just more power?
I think it's just more power. The case could be made that the white is a little bit softer, but to my way of thinking, due to the size itself, it's going to be soft up close no matter what you do.
Right.
Now, the challenge here is that most photographers that I know won't use it up close. They want it for far away. Well, then it's far away, and you're getting great light, and it spreads everywhere, but it's going to be hard edge shadows. That's not too soft on those shadows, and look how close it is to her. So it really is, and this is the first thing we're going to talk about tomorrow morning, size relative to distance. It's all about the quality of that light, and there are subtle little changes and subtle controls that we have that we're going to hit pretty hard tomorrow, for sure. Tomorrow's a work day. I mean, tomorrow, we got stuff to do tomorrow. We got a lot of stuff to do. And then Wednesday is a play day. Wednesday, we are taking pictures, and we are laughing, and we are creating. But today is the tools. Tomorrow is the light qualities, light quantities, and then we get to play on Wednesday. So, but I do think that we do need to pay attention to all of our own results of our tests. You know, I think that, I remember a guy one time saying he protested when someone would say something from the stage. And I would say, protest? He said, yeah, pro meaning for testing. And he'd say, I'm all for testing. I want to test it. But you have to be careful as an instructor, and as thankfully it was very nice of somebody to say I was more of a teacher than instructor. I appreciate that. I think that as I take that on as a responsibility, and that is I have to test all this stuff out, and it works to be true empirically, meaning for me and my taste and my meter and my client and my camera and my studio and my light stand and how I like it. How you choose to interpret all of the stuff that we're doing this week is totally different. You guys are going to have and you guys are going to do a lot more with this than I've ever done with this. You guys will take it places I've never even thought of. I see work today that I am so excited about, and I wish I had done it, taken by 21-year-old kids. And I just shake my head and go, dang it, man, I wish I could shoot like that. I can't. I understand how they did it, but I can't do it. I don't think of it. I don't have that kind of a brain. So I wish I did. So
be nice, right?
yeah. Yeah.